and welcome back. The topic for today is compensation disparity. And I know we've talked about this a little bit in some of the other videos, but I think it's a really important topic. So we're going to dedicate this video to compensation. And first, let me say, I did a terrible job of getting fair pay throughout my career. I would either do nothing like I did early on in my career, or I would go ballistic. Even when I was teaching school, when I found out that I was not being paid for overseeing a study hall and my male colleague was, I threw a fit. I ran to the principal and said, "You either pay me or I go to the board." And he did pay me. One time, I got a raise that I thought was terrible for the work I was doing. And a lower subordinate, my boss was out of town, he gave me the sheet of paper that gave me my pay raise. I just tore it up right in front of him. And then when my boss came back from being out of town, he grabbed me into a conference room and we just had a screaming match. I said, "How dare you give me such a paltry increase?" And he said, "How dare you tear up that paper?" And it went on from there. Now, I think one of the hardest things for me to take is when I was acting Chief Information Officer. It was really the first time that I actually knew for sure that I was being paid less than all of my peers at the time. Because now I was the boss and I got to see what all the men were being paid. I was terribly upset, but I was hoping to get the permanent position and I didn't do anything. So, like I said, I either did nothing or I went ballistic. Now, you might wonder, why is fair pay so important? And, this is in hindsight. I think it is very important for a lot of reasons. You never know what's going to happen in your life. Like, for example, for me, my husband died, we didn't get his pension, and then I lost a good portion of my pension when the company went into bankruptcy. So, you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen to family and friends and how you may need to help them. So for lots of reasons, I think fair pay is important. And it's not just the money. I think it's important in order to really respect yourself and know that you are respected by others. So, like we said before, women today are paid about 82 or 83% of what men earn on average. And it depends upon which study you look at. Pew Research study said it was at the end of 22, 82%. So then you might ask, okay, well, how big of a deal is it to be paid 17 cents less on the dollar or 18 cents less on the dollar than a man is paid? And I want to quote you a few statistics just to give you an idea of how important a few cents difference are. In 2020, Newsweek reported that a typical woman in the U.S. will lose $407,760 over a 40-year career. And that's bad, but for Black women, they reported it was $944,800. And even worse than that, for Latina women, it's $1,121,440. So those cents really add up. Another important point that I want you to focus on is when women hire into a company, especially if they're hiring in at a middle or higher level, they may ask for stock options. But women do not do this very well or very often. Another example, this came from a Wall Street Journal article, and they said in 2018, and I believe it's fairly similar today, the average value of company shares for men was $104,902. And for women during that same period, it was $26,361. That's almost 75% less than the stock options that men have. So to begin with, I think it is really important to do your homework, to find out what the fair wage is for whatever your position. And especially when you hire into a company, because if you don't start out with a fair wage, it's obvious that it's going to be much more difficult to catch up. And if you find, no matter what level you're at or what stage of your career, if you find out that you are not being paid a fair wage in comparison to colleagues who are being paid more, then you go to your boss, you go to HR, and at the end of the day, if you need to, you go to the EEOC. Now, many estimates say that it will be 2059 before women reach wage parity with men. So that's another reason. We don't want to wait another 40 years for women to catch up and have fair pay. So you're not only doing this for yourself, you're also doing it for other women. Because if you're paid fairly, it's more likely that they will get a fair pay too. With that, I'd like to go into the questions for this video. Question 1, why do you think pay inequity still exists? Question 2, how important is salary compensation to you? Are there things such as work flexibility that are more important to you and that you can actually put a value on? Question 3, what would you do if you find out that you are paid less than a man for the same or similar work? Okay, with that, the next video is going to be about women around the world, not just the US, but around the world, being second in command. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time.